You keep doing it the wrong way without even noticing it. You stay available. You answer fast. You explain yourself. You try to fix things. You think if you just give a little more, they'll finally see your worth. And every time they pull away, you lean in harder. You text again. You double check what you said. You ask what's wrong. You treat their attention like a prize and your own time like it doesn't matter. That has to stop. Because the crazy part is this: the moment you finally stop doing all that, the moment you pull back and give them distance, that's when they suddenly start missing you. That's when they start asking where you went, why you're so quiet, who you're with, what you're doing. And it feels confusing. One minute you're right there, and they act like you're just another option. And then as soon as you stop chasing, they start chasing. So what's actually going on? And how do you use this without playing stupid games or pretending to be someone you're not? This isn't about being petty. It isn't about ignoring someone on purpose or running some fake strategy. It's about you understanding yourself, understanding people, and learning how distance protects your value instead of destroying it. You're pulling away so they can finally experience what life is really like without you doing emotional work for both of you. And at the same time, you get your energy back. You stop begging for their attention and start building yourself. You have more control in your relationships than you think. Not control over them, not over their feelings, but over your effort, your reactions, and your standards. When you stop trying to control what's in their head and you start controlling what you do, everything changes. So yeah, we're going to talk about why creating distance makes them come back. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how that distance turns you into someone who doesn't even need them to come back. Because right now, if you're honest, you probably gave too much for too long. You were the one reaching out. You were the one trying to fix arguments. You were the one asking, "Are we okay?" While they sat back and let you carry the connection. Every time you chased someone who didn't respect your effort, you taught yourself you were less. Every time you ignored your own feelings, just to keep them around, you slowly lowered your standards. That ends now. By the time you're done here, you're going to know exactly why giving space works, how to do it without drama, and how to walk away feeling stronger instead of anxious. And yeah, if they come running back, you'll understand why, but you'll also be ready to decide if you even want them back. We'll bring in some stoic thinking here too, because that mindset is simple. You don't control other people. You control your choices, your reactions, your focus. You can't make anyone see your value on your timeline. You can only stop forcing yourself on someone who refuses to see it. Once you pull back and focus that effort on yourself instead of them, something starts to shift around you. They feel the change. You feel the change. They begin to see the space you used to fill. You start to see how much you were overgiving. So let's go through why distance has such a strong effect and what actually happens when you finally stop chasing. Reason 1, the shock of your growth. People get comfortable when they think they know you. They put you in a box in their head. You're the one who always texts first, the one who will always forgive, the one who will always be there when they're bored. You stay in that role for long enough, and they stop seeing you as a full person. They see a pattern. They think you'll always be the same. Then you pull back. You stop being the backup plan. You're not always on your phone, waiting for their messages. You're not jumping the second they give you a little bit of attention. You don't start fights. You don't give long speeches. You just quietly move your focus somewhere else. You go to the gym and actually stay consistent. You lock in on your studies or career. You clean up your style. You pick up hobbies you've been putting off. You spend time with people who actually call you first. You start building a life that doesn't orbit around whether they text you today. And they notice. At first, they're just confused. They're used to a version of you that needs them. They're used to you checking up, asking what they're doing, trying to make plans. Now suddenly you're busy. You're calmer. You're not chasing. And the energy around you feels different. That difference hits hard because it shows them something they didn't expect. You can change without them. You can level up without their help. You can improve while they sit still. That creates a kind of shock in their mind. They thought they had you figured out. Now they don't. They start replaying how they treated you. And they realize they assumed you'd always stay. You didn't. But here's the important part. This growth is not for them. You're not in the gym imagining their face. You're not getting better just to post something so they see it. You're doing it because you finally understand that your time belongs to you. Pick one area of your life and actually go all in. One thing. Fitness, social life, skills, money, anything. Use the time you were wasting on texting, stalking their socials, overthinking what they meant, and put that into yourself. When you do that for just a few months, you won't even recognize your old self. And when they see it from a distance, they won't recognize you either. That shock is the first reason they start thinking about you way more than before. Reason 2, your self-sufficiency becomes very attractive. Most people depend on others to feel okay. They need constant attention, likes, replies, reassurance. Their mood swings based on who texted and who didn't. You probably lived like that for a while too. When you pull back and actually learn to stand on your own, that changes everything. Self-sufficiency simply means you can handle your own life. You can enjoy your own company. You can make decisions without begging for someone's approval. You can spend a weekend by yourself and not feel like you're worthless. This is rare. And because it's rare, it stands out. When they look at you and see someone who isn't begging, isn't chasing, isn't constantly asking, "What are we?" It hits them. You're not relying on their attention to feel good about your day. You're not falling apart just because they're distant. Instead, you're busy, you're focused, you're building routines that have nothing to do with them. You can go out alone, eat alone, study alone, train alone, and you're fine. That sends a clear message. You are not dependent on them for your happiness, and people feel that. There's a quiet stability in someone who is okay on their own. It doesn't scream, it doesn't show off. It just shows in the way you move, the way you respond, the way you don't react to every little thing. When someone realizes you don't need them, they start wanting you more. Not in some magical way, but because the power dynamic flips. Before, they were the center. Now, you are. You used to answer fast, check their story 100 times, worry if they took too long to reply. Now, you respond when you're free. You're not checking every move they make. You don't blow up when they disappear for a bit. You're calm, because your day is full of other things. Self-sufficiency also protects your emotions. You stop letting one person decide whether your day is good or bad. You stop tolerating disrespect because you're not scared to lose them. You know you can walk away and still be okay. That alone makes your presence more valuable. Before, you were throwing attention at them like it was endless. Now, your attention is rare. You're careful with it. You don't let just anyone drain it. They feel that difference. They remember when you needed them. Now you don't. That gap pulls them in. Reason 3, your confidence starts to bother them and attract them at the same time. When you were always chasing, your confidence dropped. You might not have said it out loud, but you doubted your worth. You over-explained. You accepted weak excuses. You stayed even when you felt disrespected. After you pull away and actually build yourself up, your confidence starts to rise. Not fake confidence. Not acting like you don't care when you secretly cry at night. Real confidence looks like this. You know you're not perfect, but you know you're valuable. You know you bring something good to a relationship. You know that if someone doesn't see it, you can walk away without begging them to change their mind. You stop asking for permission. You stop checking every decision with them. You stop twisting yourself just to keep their interest. That confidence shows in small actions. You say no without feeling guilty when something doesn't feel right. You don't answer in the middle of the night just because they finally decided to text. You stop accepting last-minute plans. You stop apologizing for having standards. When they see this, it hits two sides of them. On one side, they feel drawn to you because confidence is attractive. Someone who knows their own value feels safe and solid. People want to be around that. It feels like being around someone who won't beg or cling. On the other side, your confidence exposes them. It makes them see their own insecurities. It makes them wonder why they didn't notice your value before. It makes them uncomfortable because the person they used to control emotionally is now acting like a person. That mix of attraction and discomfort is strong. They think about you more. They pay more attention. They feel a strange mix of envy and respect. And again, you're not doing any of this to prove something to them. You're not walking around trying to act better. You're just finally backing yourself. Confidence doesn't have to be loud. You don't need big speeches. You don't need to attack them. You just need to make choices that match your worth. People see that. And the ones who took you for granted feel it hard. Reason 4, you're no longer predictable. When you were fully focused on them, they could predict almost everything. They knew you'd answer fast. They knew you'd say yes. They knew you'd try to fix things. They knew you'd be there, no matter how they acted. Predictability feels safe at first, but after a while, people stop valuing it. They stop paying attention because they already know what's going to happen. The moment you pull back and start living your own life, your patterns change. Not because you're trying to confuse them, but because your priorities are different now. Now, sometimes you're busy. Sometimes you're out. Sometimes you're asleep instead of staring at your phone. Sometimes you see their message and you answer later because you're in the middle of something important. You're not jumping every time your screen lights up. That alone makes you less predictable. You're not always the first to message. You don't always react to their story. You don't always start the conversation. You're okay with silence. You're okay with space. You're okay with things not moving. This breaks the old pattern in their head. They can't just assume your reaction anymore. They can't fully guess what you'll do. And whether they admit it or not, that makes them pay more attention. Humans are curious. When something is too easy to understand, we stop focusing on it. When something changes, we pay more attention again. That's what your new behavior does. But make sure you understand this clearly. Being less predictable is not about games. It's not about staring at a text and waiting exactly 3 hours to respond just to create some effect. That kind of fake tactic actually keeps you emotionally attached. What you want instead is real unpredictability that comes from having your own schedule, your own priorities, your own life. When you truly put your goals first, you don't have time to be on call for someone who only gives you half effort. That's the kind of unpredictable that pulls them in without you trying. Reason 5, they finally feel the loss. People rarely value constant access. When you were always there, they didn't have to think about losing you. They assumed your attention would always be available. Then you step back, you stop sending those good morning texts. You stop checking in when they disappear. You stop being the person who keeps the conversation alive. You stop bringing all the emotional support by yourself. At first, they might not care. They might even enjoy the space because they're used to you carrying the connection. They tell themselves you'll eventually show up like always. Then days go by. Maybe weeks. They realize their phone is quieter. They realize there's no one asking how their day went. There's no one listening to their problems the way you did. There's no one giving them that comfort they got used to. Slowly, they start to see the gap you left behind. They remember the good parts, the way you listened, the way you cared, the way you made them feel included, the way you supported them when they were stressed. All that felt normal when you were there. Now it feels rare. That's when they understand something. You were giving way more than they thought. They notice that other people don't give what you gave so easily. They see that not everyone answers like you did. Not everyone puts in that kind of effort. Not everyone cares on that level. That's when regret starts to build. They realize they misused their chance. They treated your effort like it was nothing special, and now they see it was actually rare. This is why distance matters. Not to punish them, but to let reality hit. As long as you stay right there, they never feel that loss. They never see the true value of what you bring. The moment you step away, they're forced to look at the truth. Your job isn't to explain it. Your job is to pull back, protect your energy, and let your absence say what your words couldn't. Reason 6, your new journey looks better than what they had with you. When you stop chasing and start building, your whole life starts to look different. You hang out with people who treat you better. You dress better. You move differently. You stop putting yourself in messy situations. You focus on goals that actually matter. From the outside, the person who took you for granted sees this. They see you posting from the gym, from new places, with new people. They hear from mutual friends that you're doing well, that you're more focused, that you're not talking about them all the time anymore. They notice that your mood doesn't depend on them. You're on a new path, and it actually looks exciting. That does something to them. They realize the version of you they had was the version that doubted themselves, overgave, and waited. The version that exists now is more confident, more selective, more serious about life. They want access to that version. But they also know they don't have that access by default anymore. Before it was easy. One text, and you would respond. One random call, and you would pick up. One half-effort apology, and you would forgive. Now they sense that this new version of you has higher standards. You look like someone who would actually say no. Someone who would not go back to the old dynamic. Someone who would choose themselves even if it hurts. That awareness makes them want to be part of your journey. But it also scares them. Because being part of your life now requires growth from their side too. They can't just repeat the old behavior and expect you to accept it. And for you, this is where you need to be honest with yourself. Is this person even capable of walking beside you now? Are they growing too? Or are they just trying to jump back in because they see you rising? Reason 7, the fear of being replaced. This is real, and it's strong. Once they see you growing, more confident, more self-sufficient, and clearly moving forward, they start to realize something simple. Other people can see this too. Someone else can notice your value. Someone else can enjoy your energy. Someone else can receive the attention and support you used to give them. Someone else can build something solid with you while they're still playing around. That thought hits them hard. They picture you laughing with somebody new. They picture you going on dates. They picture you giving someone else the same level of loyalty and care you once gave them. They imagine someone new getting that side of you they never appreciated. That fear doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be quiet, but it's there, and it pushes them to act. They message more. They ask what you're doing. They randomly check on you. They bring up memories. They suddenly show interest in your life and your plans. It's their way of checking if they still have space in your world. Now, here's where the stoic part matters. Their fear is not your responsibility. Your goal is not to make them jealous or scared. Your goal is to live in a way that respects your own value. If that creates fear in them, that's on them. It's just a result of their choices. You focus on building connections with people who see your worth from the beginning. You keep improving, keep growing, keep raising your standards. If they want a place in that life, they have to come correct. They have to show real change, not just fear of being replaced. And if they don't, someone else eventually will. Now, let's take all of this and ground it in action so you're not just listening, you're actually changing. First, stop over-explaining. You don't need long essays about how they hurt you if they already know and don't care enough to change. Lower your output. Say less. Let your actions show the new standard. Second, slow your responses. You don't have to respond instantly. Just because your phone buzzed, finish what you're doing. Live your life. Answer when it fits your schedule. This isn't a trick. It's a way of telling yourself that your plans matter too. Third, stop double texting and chasing. If they go dry, let it be dry. If they stop putting in effort, don't increase yours to save things. Let the level of your effort match the level of theirs. That alone will show you who actually wants to be there. Fourth, fill your time with real progress. Gym, studies, career, side projects, family, friends, rest, learning. Your day should feel full even without their name on your screen. If your whole day collapses when they don't reply, that's your sign to build a life that doesn't depend on them. Fifth, set internal rules. For example, I don't stay where I feel like an option. I don't reply to disrespect. I don't cancel plans for last-minute attention. Stick to these rules even when it's hard. That's where real self-respect forms. Sixth, prepare for them to return. Because most of the time, they do. When you pull back and actually improve, they feel it. So before that happens, be clear with yourself. If they come back, what do you need to see? What behavior is unacceptable now? What are your standards? Decide this before your emotions get involved again. Seventh, accept that sometimes the happy ending is you moving on. Stoic thinking is simple here. You focus on what you can control. You can't force someone to treat you right. You can only refuse to stay where you are, not treated right. Distance is not a game. It's a filter. When you pull back, the wrong people fade out and the right ones lean in. The ones who only liked you because you were easy to use will slowly disappear. The ones who actually value you will feel the loss, reflect, and either adjust or respectfully leave. Either way, you win. Because the real goal isn't to make them crawl back. The real goal is to become someone who never again begs for bare minimum attention. Someone who can walk away from disrespect. Someone who can give love without losing themselves. So yeah, pull back. Not to punish. Not to teach them a lesson. Pull back to protect your energy, to see the truth, and to give yourself the chance to grow into the version of you that doesn't chase people who treat you like an afterthought. If they come back, you'll understand exactly why. And this time, you'll be the one who decides if they get another chance, not because you're scared to lose them, but because you finally understand you were the prize the whole time.